Hello everyone, EagleX from ATX EagleX Gaming here this morning with some gameplay footage from our webcam finals. We played Proxy BT10. At the top we have Boss playing Yellow-Red Hybrid, and at the bottom we have Solo piloting Cross Heart. If you guys enjoy this content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. With that being said, enjoy this gameplay footage. In this Proxy BT10 event, I allowed any players to use proxies for 0 to 55 cards of their deck. Proxy, in my terms, is either a high image quality or a card that has the text of the card name along with its set number, because there's multiple cards with the same name. So here we are in the finals. We will see proxies, both types, but I will make sure they're clear on the right side. If you guys enjoyed this quality of content, let me know in the comments below too, because I'm trying out some different things for the channel to improve the gameplay. So first we have Solo hatching out a Pikmon's egg. This is one of these strong cross eggs that will allow you to draw when you attack with a cross Digimon, and surprise surprise, in a cross deck you're only playing cross Digimon. And then he leads over with his Jeremy Tamer with no Ballista in his hand. But now we see Boss is opening up with a Guilmon X Ante over the Digimon, and then slamming down a Boko for the top 5 search. That proxy card we have there is a Solarmon from the Jesmon starter deck. It has the effect to basically prevent cross from reducing their play costs, but we do see a Zoe and Burning Greymon are picked up from the tutoring effect of Boko. So we know that Boss has a Tamer and is ready to start getting some plays going. He will put down the Takuya, which has most importantly the inheritable of giving 2k DP buff, and an extra security check if you have 10k DP or more. But we see the Taiki Tamer. It was called Mikey in Japan, but for some reason they switched the names here in America. But he will tutor the top 4 to add a cross Digimon in his sources and a cross card into his hand. And notably, all the Tamers in this deck also have the cross trait. And Solo will choose to add the Starmons to his hand, which has the inheritable to draw a card if you're attacking with Shoutmon, I believe it is, which is really good for helping the consistency of the deck and also provide a rookie. We will see the Akari slam down, and she will be able to cheat out a Darula. And when you cheat out a cross card, you can choose to activate both your Jeremy and your Akari or your Zenjiro to gain a memory and draw a card. It doesn't matter what cross Digimon is played, as long as one is played. And we see Boss is opening up with Aggression, drawing a card from the Digimon effect. And then we check another Taiki, which will tutor top 4. We are choosing to add X4 into hand and Ballista as a source step Mikey or Taiki Tamer. And this will enable cross to get some strong plays in the future, because you'll be able to cross from hand, pulling these sources from your Tamers. We do see Burning Greymon going over Takuya, getting the bonus effect of popping a Digimon 4k DP or less if you go over a Takuya and or Hybrid. So it will pop the Darula, and we will see the Burning Gray swing security at 8k DP, finding another Akari, pulling back that Darula, who will pop that Guilmon in exchange. But thankfully, the bonus effects of playing out the cross Digimon is only during the cross player's turn, so it will not activate the extra draw from security. But we do see a proxied Solarmon slam down here, and this will slow down cross as they won't be able to use X4 directly in their hand. If they had another Darula to cheat out, they would be able to pop the Solarmon or a Fireball. That's another option too. But we will see the draw, and all the cross Digimon in this deck have these save mechanics, so we can see them tucked under any of the Tamers upon deletion, so we can save those resources for later. Darula will also take a swing at security, and it checks into Atomic Inferno, which security effect is to gain security attack +1 on all your opponent's Digimon for their next turn, so basically a +1 check aura. Very powerful if you're playing hybrids and the opponent can't really interact with those Digimon. So we're seeing it's a pretty close 3-3 match. We see there's no Tamers set up for the Yellow-Red Hybrid, but we do see all the cross Tamers set up, and they're starting to get value. You can see right here, we're going to see a draw 2, gain 2 memory play from the green and yellow Tamers combined, effectively being a 1-cost level 4 that draws 2 cards. And Ballista is also a blocker if you have another cross card in play, which does come up. This is a way to prevent extra damage, especially if you can recur the Digimon. So now we're trying to figure out what's the best way to push advantage in this matchup. And we're going to be slamming down the Shoutmon. On play, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you will add a Cross Digimon and or Cross Tamer to your hand. We are getting the X5, which is a finisher in this deck after you use your X4s. And we will see another Digimon hatch, but we will see Burning Greymon go for 2 checks at 8k DP thanks to the Atomic Inferno. And the checks will go through and X5 is found, so it will crash right away. Even though we had the Ballista that could have blocked and then gone right underneath the Tamer, the attack was allowed to go through. The boss is kind of put in an awkward situation here, not wanting to swing a Solarmon because it is slowing down the cross player from crossing into X4, and Takuya will pass turn to the opponent. No fixer yet for either player, but with all the Tamers, you don't really need them in cross because you can work with 1 memory for a lot of your plays. We see the next Pikmon is hatched, and it will go into Sparrowmon. Because that black box, you will be able to evo over a different color Digimon as it's an alternative Digivolving requirement. But we're facing down 3 security of 3 Digimon, which already puts a lot of pressure onto boss. So now we're trying to figure out what's to play here. If it wasn't a Solarmon on field, you'd be able to cross into X4 with no problem. And TK will go ahead and pull out a card from security, pulling out Sunrise Buster, allowing there to be a recover and then shuffling. And as appropriate, you offer your opponent the cut of your security after you just peeked it so they know that you're not stacking it. It is a great courtesy. And we see Shoutmon swinging security, finding a Burning Greymon. We're going to use the save mechanic though, as the Shoutmon will not live the swing, but we will save the materials. With only 1 memory left, there is a little bit of struggle to pull out a play and keep turn. But we will see the Fireball for 2 with that Red Tamer in play. We can pop a Digimon 3k DP or less, or if something wasn't popped, draw 2 cards, a great way to stay consistent with the deck. We do see Takuya pushed up into Burning Greymon for 2, and this is a great timing to pop that Ballista. As it is the blocker, it will be saved underneath. You will be able to swing at security and apply pressure still. Then we will see the second Burning Greymon for 1 memory because it's going over a hybrid. It still gets the popping effect, so Darula will be saved underneath the Tamers. So clearing out the board, trying to be as defensive as possible while swinging for damage. We are going at 8k DP for 1 check, and the 1 check is an X4, so it will crash. We're not really seeing the rookies, just so little behind in this very close and aggressive matchup. We see Zoe slam down for 3, and boss is going to go ahead and scoop it. And while we're here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, guys. All your support is appreciated, and we are going to start Game 2 here in our webcam finals. Cross is going to be starting us out with a Pikmon that will go into a Shoutmon. The inheritable Shoutmon is another super strong and key mechanic of this deck, being able to save for the deletion, but the inheritable of giving rush to Shoutmon cards is really strong. We see Akari is slammed down here with no Darula to cheat out. So we do see Digimon go into Guilmon X. And going for that draw engine is super powerful, but that's not the Guilmon you optimally want to see in your opening hand. So we are going to go ahead and see boss respawn on the Akari fixer. He will slam down a Zoe, which will tutor his security for any hybrid or 10 warriors regardless of color. So if he finds a red hybrid, he's able to pull it, or a yellow hybrid, but he actually will be whiffing. And we do get a shuffle on the 5 security. And to finish out the turn, we do see a Solarmon slam down for 3. This will be a very key card in the matchup to slow down cross while maintaining advantage yourself. Shoutmon will be pushed out, and it's almost always a free draw if you decide to push out and swing. There's not really anything that stops the draw mechanic, but it will check into the promo Guilmon, which is the optimal one you really want to see as you play yellow-red hybrid. Well, we see the Solarmon is on play. I'm trying to get rid of it. However, we did just lose our red source on field because the Guilmon, or not Guilmon, the Shoutmon did die in security. So I am going to have to rewind their play here. So Solarmon will live, the 2 memory will be refunded to Solo here. Small little mistakes we get playing early in the format, where you normally have all your color requirements met in the late game, but in the early game it's easy to forget. And we see a Sparrow Mine slam down for 4 memory. Just fixing the memory up here, we forgot to refund the 2 memory Fireball for Solo side, and Boss is just making sure it is correct that he is choked at 1. Guilmon will be pushed out, swinging for a draw at 3k DP, I believe it is. Or 2k DP, yeah, no, 3k, because it crashes into the Shoutmon here. And with only 1 memory, kind of awkward to make plays here. But we will see the Dual Tamer slam down here for 4. And this is similar to TK Kari, as it decentivizes your opponent from being aggressive, otherwise memory will be gained. If you have 3 or less security proc a memory, if your opponent has 3 or less, you proc a memory at the start of your turn. So it's a way to push up that memory just slightly for the start of turn plays. So if Cross is being aggressive, you get memory. If you're being aggressive, you'll get memory. Very powerful to see on both sides. And we're kind of in an awkward spot for Crosses. They don't really have smooth plays to go into like Tamer into a Cross. And we're actually contemplating the evolution here into the X4, but Sparrowmon's just going to swing security, finding a Tai and Kari Dual Tamer, which is already strong to see 1, but now we're getting punished by having 2 on the opponent's side. And we will see a Darula slammed for 4. Darula's effect will pop something with 3k DP or less if you have another Cross in field, which you almost always have in this deck. And the Akari is optional to draw the extra card, so more likely just for getting to proc it here. You see the next Solarmon put up in Raising. This Guilmon will be attempting to swing over the Sparrowmon, and something that was caught after the game is that Sparrowmon is all turns to get 3k DP with another Cross card in play. So apologies on that for the slight difference in gameplay, which actually could be significant down the line here. But we see the next Burning Greymon pushed up over to Kuya to pop the other Digimon on the field. And just setting up another Digimon, while Cross is struggling to use any of the resources in the deck, as you can't cross without the Taiki Tamer or the Cross Tamer or Fixer, as they're both ways that let you pull sources from underneath a Digimon. Shoutmon will be pulling that Ballistamon, as is a Cross Digimon going to hand, and there is no Cross Tamer found. Boss is going to be proccing both his Tai and Karis, gaining 2 memory. Solarmon is going to be pushed out. With only 4 security left on his opponent's side and a draw from the Guilmon, he's getting close to finding lethal and pulling cards he will need. The first check is the Akari, who will pull out the Darula on play, and that 3k DP will be used on the Solarmon, so we won't be floodgated for this entire game. Atomic Inferno is going on the Burning Gray stack. The extra 3000 DP is just enough to give him 11,000 DP, so he will be going for 3 checks thanks to the Takuya Inheritable and the Atomic Inferno buff. Wrong part of Atomic Inferno is shown here, but the security check is the important part you get. And on the 3rd check, we find the Crimson Blaze, which will remove the Guilmon, but with enough memory, we can go into a Zephyrmon and take game for Game 2. Moving on to Game 3, we're going to have a really exciting finals, as people are super scared that Cross is going to be a tier 0 deck. By no means it is a very strong deck, but perhaps there might be some other counterplay to the deck. The Pikmon is opened up with a Shoutmon and then the Fixer Tai. This card is amazing in the deck, as it lets you get through Holy Waves, Holy Flames, and Venusmons that attempt to shut down your deck. But we see Solarmon in Raising for Boss here, followed by a TK Fixer, pulling another TK. Really importantly here, if you're pulling it, you want to make sure you're not burning yourself later, so just pulling out that TK where it could be mistimed is a big deal. I'm guaranteeing that's probably the reason why it was pulled here. And then to end the turn, we get a Bokomon. And we get that top 5 tutor again. This is an amazing setup for boss here, as we're able to get a rookie in raising, a tamer on field, which is equivalent to like an extra rookie for all the hybrids, and then we're able to get a way to gain back our memory with the Pokemon on field. So unless there's a memory blocker, this is going to be a very scary next turn, as boss is able to get approximately 3 checks in. So we see Solo has pushed out the Shoutmon here, and it's going to be a pretty nice draw to get here, but finding a way to get rid of Pokemon would be a good way to slow down the red-yellow hybrid. So Shoutmon will be drawing thanks to the Pikmon inheritable, and we find that promo Guilmon again, that 2000 DP, making a difference. Ideally, that's what boss finds to put over his eggs, but I don't think he saw it a single time in this set. And we see Akari slam down here. Akari can cheat out a Darula, which we do have. Darula will give minus 3k DP to the Boko, and we will proc Akari to draw a card. So we can see the cross engine was definitely designed to work together super well. And Zenjiro or Jeremy is slammed down, which would cheat out a Ballistamon, but we don't see one in hand. And simply we're just finding a way to set up future plays for cross. So boss is debating whether it's worth promoting, and he is going to push out Solarmon, be aggressive, trying to take out security and end this game as fast as possible before cross can get all their tamers set up. You see Takuya slam down next for 3 memory, and a Burning Gray going over it for 2 to pop that Darula, and simply save tempo on board and security. So we see a Tamer restand draw and another Pikmon hatch, seeing a Sparrowmon in raising. And honestly, Cross is a very aggressive deck, but we're seeing that Yellow-Red Hybrid is finding ways to be aggressive while maintaining board tempo as well. Fireball is being used here for extra consistency in the hands. So we see basically 3 Tamers set up. The only thing we're missing is the Taiki Tamer to start tutoring extra cards and pulling sources from underneath. But we do play Starmons to proc both Tamers to gain a memory and draw a card, hoping to unbreak and find an answer for either the extra aggression or setup. But we missed the 2 memory for the Fireball on Solo's side. Accidents do happen, and we try our best to ensure the state of gameplay here. We see Aldemon go over the Burning Gray to get an extra 4k DP, which will put Takuya alive, so we will see 2 checks at least from this Aldemon stack. So our first check is Shoutmon X4, second check is Ballistamon. Putting down Cross to 2 security, we see the dual Tamer put down as a way to start pushing advantage. Since we forced Cross to be at less than 3 security, we know we will get at least 4 memory to work with next turn. But Sparrowmon is pushed out here, and we're trying to think, is there a way to close out game here? Without a Taiki, it's going to be really hard for Cross to have everything unless they have a hand of Cross pieces. But just trying to figure out what plays we have to work with here, as both players are very talented, but we definitely see aggression is the playstyle of this finals. Sparrow will be swinging at security at 5k DP, and it is checking a Sunrise Buster, which will allow Red-Yellow Hybrid or Boss to play out a Red or Yellow Tamer, then give minus 3k DP per Yellow-Red Tamer in play. So 3 Tamers, minus 9k DP. And being short one more Digimon, especially one that if you were potentially going to cross into, is kind of scary. But we see Akari slam down for 3, and Akari's effect will cheat out that same Darula, and we're going to proc our 3 Tamers to get as much value as possible, gaining a memory, drawing 2 cards. And it will keep turn for Solo here at the bottom. Getting the Ballista out is going to be a way to stall out a little bit more. But we do see that Takuya, so it is possibly Burning Gray to right again. And we see another Zenjiro or Jeremy Tamer slam down with no Ballista in hand, showing, hey, I don't have it. So if you have lethal, you have lethal. We're going to see Guilmon go first to get that draw. And with 4 memory and boss aside, we can assume there's probably 2 hybrids here. All ones going for 2 checks at 10k, and we see TK pushed up into a Zephyr, taking game. Thank you very much for watching, take care, and have a nice day.